it's really our purpose to take as much use and old shoes and save it from landfill. We are the first brand that is doing like repair on such a big scale.
Welcome everybody. Welcome back to the Kicks Factory show. We have a special show today with some guests from the other side of the pond, as I like to say, the other side of the Atlantic. Today we have Jelske and Jarah from the company or brand Peterson Stoop. How are you both doing today? How are you?
We're good. I have a little hay fever, so no corona here, but a little hay fever.
Okay, all right. I like the clarity. I like that. Jarah, how are you doing?
Yeah, we're doing well. We're sitting in our studio, which is undergoing a makeover. So nice and busy.
Yeah. That's exciting. Are you excited about the makeover? What's happening inside? Tell me a little bit.
Yeah, so we have a lot of stock of secondhand shoes. So we are organizing the stock.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
All these new baskets that we have behind us, and just trying to make it more organized.
Awesome, very cool. We're gonna dive into a little bit more of that too later on, and as we get further into the show. But first, just wanted to again see how y'all doing. How's your 2021 been going so far? Last year was a doozy for a lot of people. How are things in Holland right now, and how's your year been going so far?
Well, for me, like I'm basically just only working, like working or at home, or walking in the park.
Yep.
With my kids. So I'm not. Yeah, we can't really. Well, the shops are open now in the Netherlands, but I just try to keep my contacts low. So
still pretty slow right now. What's going on out there. All right, well, just wanted to say also happy belated Mother's Day to you both as well. Hope you had a wonderful weekend with your children. So just wanted to get that out there as well. So let's kick this off. So tell me both, and we'll this is the first time I've had two people on at the same time, so bear with me. But let's start with where you're from, and sort of what it was like growing up where. So I know, Jarah, you are from New Zealand, and Jelske, you are from Holland. Tell me a little bit about that.
So I was born in Holland, in Groningen. It's a city up north in Holland. I grew up in a small village, only like 5,000 people. I had a pretty chilled childhood, like playing outside, being artsy craftsy at home. Just chill. And then in 2007, after art school, I moved to Amsterdam. Also nice. Lovely city.
Awesome. And Jarah?
So I was born in New Zealand, but my parents are actually Dutch. So they were young and exploring the world. So they decided to immigrate to the farthest place they could come up with. So that's exactly opposite of the sides of the globe from the Netherlands. So they moved to New Zealand, and I was born there actually in a house truck. So my parents, bought a truck, and they built a little house in the back. So my parents have always been really entrepreneurial, and always just looking for challenges, and doing where their heart tells them to go. So
that's very cool.
Yeah, so we've had restaurants and a shop, and my parents actually also, my dad's an artist, so I grew up like in his art studio, and they used to have a gallery, so I would just be there between all the artists and the public, and so pretty. I've seen a lot of the world when I was younger, so I also like to stay in the Netherlands. Like a lot of people say like, oh, I like to travel, I want to go places, and I'm like, Yeah, I've already seen so much. Like for me, but for me, like I really love to travel for work, because then I know what I'm doing. Like I have a purpose, and then everything that you you get on the side, like to see like touristic attractions or like beautiful architecture or nice nature. Right. That's all like a bonus. But so I've traveled a lot with my family. So
that's awesome. I want to circle back to this house truck, because that sounds very interesting. You don't live in a house truck now, do you?
No, I just live in a regular house. Yeah.
Right. What was that? So I just want to know a little bit like what that was like. I'm assuming it's like what we call here in America an RV or a motorhome or something too, right? But they built it themselves. That's very ambitious.
Yeah, I think they were. They want to live in the nature, so they built their own little house on the back of a truck. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. And like, so, my next question, but you already answered it for me, was that, how in the world did you get from New Zealand to Holland? Because yes, they are on the opposite sides of the planet. But the second part of that question was, I got to know how you both have met. Like, how did you meet each other? And when did you meet?
Well, that's actually a nice story. I was applying for art school, and Jarah was already in the second grade of the art school. So I was applying for art school, and on the day that you had to go to school and do some assignments, and also had to do an interview with 2 teachers and 2 students, and one of the students was Jarah, and I didn't think that I was going to get into the art school, so I was sort of like, I thought, oh well, I'll just try, have a bit of fun. So I wasn't nervous at all. I was just having fun. And then I showed my funny project. And yeah, I don't know. I was just having fun, and Jarah thought, that's a funny girl. She's here.
Yeah, I think Jelske already then had a really positive and like sparkling personality. So straight away, we knew that when you design something, it also has to do with personality. So we're like, yeah, this is gonna work.
That's awesome. And when was this again? How old were you both, or like what year? I won't say. Yeah, you tell me the year.
I went to art school 2004. I started 2004. I graduated in 2008, and Jarah went to Royal College of Art in London to do her master's, and she graduated from that also in 2008. And then she came back to Amsterdam because 2008 was a crisis year, so no jobs. And then we ended up sharing a studio space. And that's sort of how the whole thing started between us, because we were sharing a space, but still doing our own project, our own brand.
Right.
You're in the same space. You obviously, you talk a lot with each other, and
gotcha.
At one point we got an assignment for Heineken to do a shoe for a brochure or something, and they wanted to have it done in like a week. So we thought, let's do the project together, because one person was a bit too not enough time to finish it. So we did the project together, and it worked so well and felt so natural that we thought maybe we should just join forces.
That's awesome. Nothing like a good beer project to bring 2 people together. Right?
Exactly.
You are listening to the Kicks Factory show. I am here with Jelske and Jarah from Peterson Stoop. So I want to just take a deep dive into your sort of, as you were getting into footwear, and understand a little bit more, like, who are some of your mentors or people that you looked up to, as you were trying to figure out, right? Obviously you don't know everything when you're younger. You're trying to sort of figure things out. It sounded like you both had each other, which is great, but who are some of the professionals or maybe people that you were looking up to as inspiration?
I First person that comes to mind is Jan Jansen. That's a Dutch shoe designer from, I think he started in the 60s or 70s. And he's really well known here in Europe. And he had a really big exhibition in a museum. And when I was 17, my mom took me to see the exhibition. And I was really fascinated by all the different designs and the materials. And when I got home, actually, I started to make shoes straight away. I was like, okay, I have to do this as well. I got a big piece of wood and I started cutting clogs out of it, or like a little sole. So yeah, I think that was quite influential for me. But I don't know, when we started to work together, I think we figured out a lot ourselves.
Yeah.
We started together. We had never had a job before in footwear design, and the goals that we had, we didn't have any examples where we could, like, from people that could teach us what we wanted to achieve, because we think it's really important to make shoes that make a positive impact for the people that are making them, but also for the environment. So we didn't have many examples or many people to coach us or train us.
No, I think I sort of had like experience that didn't necessarily coach me, but I was in China for a couple months. And I also was in some shoe factories. And that was before we actually really started working together. And what I saw there in the factories and just being in China, it was in Guangzhou. It's one of the biggest cities in the world that has immense, ginormous shoe industry. Mm-hmm. And just the sheer scale of how much stuff and bad quality, and also how the workers were treated in the factories. I mean, it wasn't like slavery or anything, but it was, the people didn't look really happy there. So I think what I experienced there for me was this is what I do not want, So I think that also really inspired us and me to do what we do.
No, that's great. Yeah, it's and it sounds like you were both able to bring those experiences together and come up with at least a plan or idea on sort of this path that you wanted to go in. So take what you have and try and make the most of it. It's a great message for young people and those who are listening to the show. We're going to take a little bit of a break, and when we come back, we're going to take a little bit of a deeper dive into Jarah and Jelske and learn a little bit more about them and their brand, Peterson Stoop. So we'll be back shortly after we pay a few bills.
$1.7 billion is so much that it's more than double what the city government's budget is.
Are you really a salesman, brother? Can you sell wet to water, heat to the sun? Are you ready?
I'm ready. I'm ready. Game.
He hype. I see him. He hype. I see him.
It would be of no charge to guess who? You.
Sign them up, coach.
Sign
them up.
What are the barriers outside the classroom that are causing students to struggle in classroom? The ABCs of support.
I told you I had 10 minutes. You should have did it in 3. The ABCs should have been there within, after their first 2 minutes of.
Are you typically doing a one call close? It's about the BIM, books, experience, and mentors.
Kadzukian. Check out all your Kadzukian favorites now. Download the Kadzukian app, available on Android and iOS.
Welcome back to the Kicks Factory show. I am here with Jarah and Jelske from the brand Peterson Stoop, joining us from Amsterdam. What time is it over there, by the way, right now?
It's 4:15.
Yeah, that's yeah, it's late over there and early over here, right? So that's probably another thing, always getting used to the different time zones and doing that's the nice thing about being in the shoe business is, you know, either the travel or the connections, but you know, talking to people in China, talking to people in Europe, in the States. But it's fun. Not a lot of people get to do that, and it's always great to be able to connect with others abroad.
Definitely.
Yeah. So Jelske, so you studied, you said you mentioned you you studied and then did studied in shoemaking, in 05, 08, and then interned when you just referred to Guangzhou. That was when you United Nude, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
And you know, those shoes are crazy. I remember thinking, like, when I saw that, I remember, you know, when I was working with another brand in New York a while back, we used to refer to those constructions and toolings all the time because that stuff was crazy. They were more like art pieces, you know, than really, really cool stuff that they did. What was that experience like for you? And like, how do you feel that has that experience has impacted the way that you work today?
So I already graduated, but then I heard that there was an internship and I was like, you know, why not? Fun experience. So I just went. And what I noticed when I was in the office, you were really taken really seriously as an intern. So like the first week, you just got to design stuff. You were invited on like the team meetings to like really discuss your designs, and there were a lot of interns, but every intern got their say and got to like really show what they designed, and you're really taken you're really a part of the company, and I really liked that experience, and it also, you know, gave me confidence, like, oh, okay, I can actually really design stuff. And quite a lot of my shoes were actually made it to the shop, so that was really cool. But yeah, I think that was a very positive experience for me to be just an intern, but, you know, really part of the company and really being respected for your talent. That was really nice. Yeah, and then the part that I just said about the factories and stuff, it's just I realized there that I did want to do something with shoe design, but I didn't want to do it on such a big scale, you know. I wanted to do it differently. As Jarah also said, we want to make shoes that make like a positive impact, and I felt that doing it in, you know, like on such a big scale, that was just not what I wanted. Yeah.
No, that was nonetheless still a great experience. I can only imagine what some of those molds and what those toolings look like. They're probably pretty crazy. Just the engineering behind that and trying to figure that out.
Factories that made like those carbon structures, like heels they looked like bridges, and like they had massive molds, and it was really cool. They did not make shoes on like a traditional.
No, not at all. Not at all. And you could see it in the work, and that's why I feel like a lot of designers or creatives in that space could reference that stuff all the time. You could walk in any office, any designer office, and see a pair of United Nude shoes just sitting on the table as reference, because every designer used it. So no, it was great. They were really definitely ahead of their time for sure, and it's awesome that you got that experience. Jarah, so you mentioned it. You studied at Royal College of Art in London, and I believe you studied, or you specialized in, or kind of had a concentration in luggage design. Is that correct? So like, what were that's interesting, because I'd be curious to hear like how you may look at that experience and tie it into footwear. It has to be pretty cool, at least from my perspective. I think of like all the closures and like the accessories and things like that are on luggage that could be really cool applications on footwear. But what was that experience like, and has that helped you with what you're doing today?
Yeah, so I haven't thought back to that collection in years. I think it's more than 10 years ago. Yeah, I think I designed that collection because because I wanted to celebrate travel. So I want to explore what what you need when you travel. So from small cases to big cases, and I also made trolleys and where you can put your luggage on. I think that collection was a lot about artisanal, like handmade craftsmanship. And I made the whole collection myself by hand. So I think that has really also informed like my passion for making and crafts based artisanal shoes.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that I didn't use so many have like small metal parts or clips and stuff. So everything was more handmade. But studying at the Royal College of Art was really a really great time. It was the best time in my life, I think. Like, so, the last years that I could just be spend my time exactly how I wanted to spend it. Now I have a company, I have a husband, children,
more responsibility,
much more responsibility. Yeah, and there I only had to design that one collection, and that was it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, that's what I do on this show. I make people dig and go back 10 plus years and bring up those old experiences. So that's what we do here on this show. But you're listening to the Kicks Factory. I'm here with Jarah and Jelske from Peterson Stoop. So one question that I like to ask all of my guests on the show is just as I'm learning about them and wanting to understand this from their perspective is, do you think you found footwear design, or did footwear design find you?
Well, for me, footwear design was sort of thrown in my lap.
Okay. So definitely found you.
Because when I was in art school, at the end of the second year, you have to choose something you want to specialize in for your graduation. So they organized some workshops, like 2-week workshops, so you can dive into one subject. And I was going to do like a ceramic workshop, but then the head teacher came to me and she said I think you should do footwear. And that's so
it came to your doorstep or fell into your lap as you mentioned. Jarah, how about you?
I think when I met Jelske, I was specializing in accessory design, and that was what I wanted to pursue. But then when I met Jelske, when we started sharing our studio, I thought, well, I think shoes are much cooler to work with. So it was an easy choice. So we just focused on that. I think we got more feedback on the footwear we designed, because we had a time that we were also designing accessories. So we dropped the accessories and then continued with footwear.
That's awesome. All right, great story. No, I love hearing that. So one of the things I also heard about you or learned about you is that you both worked in a shoe repair shop. Is that correct? You did. So you did. Okay. So yes, you worked
when I was in China.
Yeah. Briefly.
Yeah.
Working. Okay. So what was, I love shoe repair shops. I think those are just really cool, interesting, places. It's for me, it's I feel like you're building shoes backwards in a repair shop. My father actually worked in one. My parents are from Jamaica, and my father worked in one when he was a kid, and he would always tell me these really cool stories about that. And I've come across lots of people who've had experience in working in shoe repair shops. What was, can you tell me a little bit about what that experience was like for you?
It was a very, very nice experience. I started there just to help him out. I helped him out with just some little stitching jobs that needed to be done on broken bags and stuff. And repair them first. But then I gradually started working more and more hours and more days there. And he actually taught me everything what is to know about shoe repair. What was also nice, he has a really high standard because he only works on high quality men's shoes, like replacing like a full sole.
Yep.
And he taught me everything, and also because the standard is so high, you really have to do like an amazing job. And you just get to like take shoes apart all day.
Yeah.
So I just learned everything about every shoe you can imagine.
That's awesome. What were some of the brands? What were some shoes that were some of the more expensive brands that were
Tony,
Crockett and Jones.
It's been I cannot really come up with anything right now.
Oh, all good.
I think similar like Crockett and Jones and Santoni. Those are like the shoes that
was the shoe. Those are the ones that you couldn't mess up.
The ladies discovered him for protection soles under their Louboutins and their Louis Vuitton Prada high-heeled shoes. So
right. Protect those too. Yeah. Those are shoes that you couldn't afford to mess up, right? You had to get that right.
And what I also learned there is because at one point Jarah and I we had like a little desk in the back of the shoe repair shop because we didn't have our own studio at that time. And every time a client came in with sneakers, we sort of heard him yell like, "Get out of my shop with your sneakers!" Sneakers aren't really repairable, so that sort of also stuck with us, And then at one point that experience came together with our own designs.
Wow. And that's actually a perfect segue. And we're going to take a little bit of a break and we're going to dive into that and learn a lot more about what you're doing in that wonderful studio of yours in Amsterdam. So you're listening to the Kicks Factory Show. I'm here with Jarah and Jelske from Peterson Stoop, and we'll be back shortly.
And today we have
Kobe Midget, owner of Premier Flowers,
a full-service florist that focuses on delivering creative, artistic, one-of-a-kind, sensational floral experiences.
I was determined to make it work. I had made my mind up, okay, I'm not going back to my job. It's a wrap, pretty much. Pretty much, I funded 90 to 95% of the business out of my own pocket. I mean, like risking every single thing. What was it like? It was like hell.
That's real.
It was hard. It was challenging. It was stressful. It was everything that, people go through starting out a business.
Hey, Grind Set fans, it's your host, Cynthia Daniels, and we've got more great shows coming your way, so stay tuned for more.
Kadzukian. Check out all your Kadzukian favorites now. Download the Kadzukian app, available on Android and iOS.
Welcome back to the Kicks Factory Show. I'm here with Jarah and Jelske from Peterson Stoop, live from Amsterdam. Thank you guys so much for this so far. This has been great, just hearing your story and learning about the both of you. So this has been wonderful so far. So a few years back, you got to participate in this concept or this idea with a good friend of mine, Mr. Daniel Bailey. Shout out to Mr. Bailey. And it was the Construct 10061 Timberland project, where you got to go to the Dominican Republic, work down in I believe in Santiago at the Timberland factory there. What was that? I'm just always curious, asking those who did it and what that experience was like, being there working with the workers and the folks there in the factory.
I think it was a dream experience. So first of all, we got there in the factory, and we went straight to work. The brief was basically redesign the boots, come up with something cool, so really, really broad, and also try, reuse the materials that they have. And also with our own ethics, we try to combine that into the designs we made there. And it was amazing to work with people that, had so much knowledge about shoes. And also we worked with a pattern maker, which was really like an eye opener that even exists, you know. So we would make a drawing, and then he would make it for us, you know, make the pattern, and then, you know, like a couple of hours later there would be a shoe. So I think that was really and also I think we really bonded with the people that were like working on the factory floor, because they could see that we could really make shoes. So, you know, like it was I don't know, instant appreciation for each other. And then just working with the whole team of designers that were selected to also take part. So it was David Maudsley, Helen Kirkham, Suzanne Oudehengel, Nathan Alexander Walker, and Daniel Bailey, of course. It was, and then the whole team of designers from Timberland. I think, it was really a memory that is like really ingrained in my memory. Yeah, it's beautiful.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's very cool. And how about you, Jelske?
Yeah, same. It was aside from the being a professional, really dream experience on a personal level, was also dream experience that our work made it possible that, you know, to Daniel to see what we do, and then bring us all the way to the Dominican Republic and share a house with all these amazing designers and chill in a pool. And it was like, whoa.
It's like the real world, right? It was like the real world on MTV.
And then combining it with being a just overall amazing experience and designing really cool stuff, and everybody like working together as one big team. Meeting the people on the factory floor, meeting Jeff Staple. It was just it was
That's
really
awesome.
good.
I can tell how both of you are really excited about it. It's just all over your faces. That's really awesome and thank you for sharing that. We say something here in the States, or at least when I was growing up, that came to mind when you were talking about the workers in the factory, and that's real recognizes real. And the fact that when you were in the factory and those workers saw that you were just as interested or passionate about shoemaking as they were, you know, that I feel like that's kind of what helps form that bond, and in that moment in time, and you're able to just make awesome products. So that's super cool. Yeah. So 2016, both of you joined forces to come together to start the brand Peterson Stoop. Where did the idea come from? And you know, how did you both know you were right to be partners together on this venture?
I think we knew that we would be right to work together, is just because our personalities really complement each other. I don't know, like Jelske is more like a butterfly, and she's really like out, like always happy and really out there, and I try to think about things a little bit longer, and like, so we just keep each other in balance. You know, and I just always feel so confident when Jelske is with me. So it makes me really happy.
And also there's absolutely no competition between us, because we really know each other's strength. So if I design something and she says, I don't like it, then I don't feel offended, or I don't know. It's just we never. I don't know. It just works.
It just works. Yeah.
It just works. Yeah.
That's it.
I feel like we really, like, sometimes we share a brain. So it's just one person. Yeah.
That's a nice way to put that. I like it. And, you know, sometimes good things can't be explained, right? Like, you just know that it works, and that's all that matters. So just jumping into the shoes. So, like, I remember the first time that I saw one of your shoes online. I was like, whoa, this is really cool. And I remember my wife seeing it. She was like, I need a pair. This looks amazing. So tell me about the idea. Like, how did you come up with sort of, because you're taking old shoes or I think like recycled shoes, and then sort of bringing them back to life and putting the sole on them. Talk to me a little bit about that. So
basically what happened, we went to a trade show in Paris, and we designed a whole collection of shoes that were as sustainable as possible, and also made with veg tan leather, we didn't use any dyes. We used water-based glues. We even went so far that we had woven our own laces because we couldn't find any really nice bio cotton laces. So we went to Paris with our whole collection and we presented
They were Oxford style shoes, so very clean, simple. Well, they were unisex, but like men dress shoes.
Yeah, and we had come up with a asymmetric sole unit. So on one side it was a wedge, and on the other side it was a step. So left and right were asymmetrical. So we presented it, and everybody was really enthusiastic, but we didn't sell anything except 2 pairs, I think. Yeah. So we were like a little bit disillusionized, sitting in our studio thinking, okay, what's next? And Jelske was actually wearing a pair of Air Force One, and we were like, okay, we came up with this really great sole unit, but let's just put it under the Air Force One. And when we came up with the idea, we actually ordered studio lamps straight away and good mics so that we could film the whole process. So a week later we did that and uploaded it to YouTube and posted it on our Instagram page. And from there we actually got people from New York emailing us if they could buy a pair, if they could send in their shoes. We had shops from Tokyo emailing us if they could just order a whole size run. And it was matches
overwhelming very fast.
Yeah, but at the time we were actually when we were actually both pregnant. Right. So we had to say to everybody, okay, so we can't take any orders yet. Yeah. So you have to wait. Yeah, wait half a year.
Wait half a year. We're gonna make babies.
Yeah. So. So they waited, and then we got back in contact with everybody once we had the studio back up and running, and we just really naive and excited to start the project. So we just started buying secondhand shoes, and then shipping them off to all the clients, and then from there, it's become what it's today.
It just grew. That's awesome. You're listening to the Kicks Factory show. I'm here with Jarah and Jelske from Peterson Stoop. That's an amazing story. One thing I want to jump into a little bit more serious topic, and would love to get your perspective on this. I've been in the shoe business for 20 years, and one thing that I've never you don't really have. You haven't seen a lot of is women in the shoe business, right? And listening to your story, and it's so awesome. And representation matters. Like for me as a Black man, it's always been very it's been great to see other people doing the thing that you're trying to do. And I would imagine it's probably the same for you to see, as see women in the business that you come across, or people that you can sort of strive. You just know that it's possible. Just talk a little bit about what that's been like in the business. I'm sure it hasn't been. I'm sure there's moments where it probably hasn't been easy. It's 2 women starting this amazing brand and trying to get it off the ground. It sounds like you guys had so much experience, and the fact that you have each other too as a support system, I'm sure also matters as well. I would love to hear your perspective or just thoughts on that.
I don't know. I don't really, to be honest, it's not really a topic. No, for us. Yeah. To be a woman in shoe business. I think because we are in the Netherlands, we don't have so many, peers to kind of go back and forth with. The most communication we have with our suppliers and our clients. And I just think, I do recall sometimes that when we were at Linea Pel, that I sometimes felt a little bit, ignored or not so much respected by people that were trying to sell, components.
Yeah.
And that really makes me not want to work with those people.
Yeah.
So that's really
that's simple really, as that. That's it. I'm going somewhere else. Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably almost the only place where we get negative comments.
Yeah, and where we really stop and talk about it, this is because we're women. Yeah. And other than that, I think. Yeah, we've been really lucky.
Yeah.
I think
Just-
maybe it's, yeah.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, because we have like, we're a little bit naive that we just
That
we
really
just
helps.
we think we can achieve everything, and we just
You just have to do it.
we just get on with it.
Yeah. Well, you can achieve anything, and you clearly are both doing that right now. So that's really important. And trust me, I'm sure you are inspiration to women all over the world right now that are seeing your brand and what you're doing, whether you know it or not. I'm definitely going to come out and say that. So that's great. Yeah, we're gonna take another break and pay some bills like we need to do around here. You're listening to the Kicks Factory Show. I'm here with Jelske and Jarah from Peterson Stoop. We'll be back shortly.
The more money works for you, the less you gotta work for money. Let's get this paper.
Woo! Today we have Mr. Al Pickett, financial coach and author of The Black Print.
So do you know a lot about cryptocurrency?
It's not going anywhere. We can put it that way.
What does a sales cycle look like to become a coaching client of Mr. Al Pickett?
Why do you want to learn how to invest? Why do you want to learn how to trade? That question right there kind of really sets the tone in terms of where the conversation is going to go. I really want to design something that would give people what I wish I had on the front end. All I do is follow what the price is doing, and that's what I keep.
And we have more great shows coming your way, so stay tuned for more.
Kadzukian. Check out all your Kadzukian favorites now. Download the Kadzukian app, available on Android and iOS.
Welcome back to the Kicks Factory Show. This is Omar Bailey. I'm here with Jarah and Jelske from Peterson Stoop. So just to continue with the conversation around your brand, one thing I would like to ask both of you is what are your favorite Peterson Stoop shoes? Oh yeah, I got you on that one.
For me, it's easy. I mean, I just like the first shoe we made.
Yeah, I was going to say
it just makes me so happy that we put a little wooden wedge, and it's like so stiff that you can't even like bend your foot. I mean, just that's like the like little the starting point of everything, and it's what we always refer back to. It has all our hopes and dreams all into one, I think. Yeah. So, I mean, that's the pure Peterson Stoop.
And also,
first one.
It's one shoe. It's not even a pair.
Yeah, exactly. It's just one shoe. Yeah. We didn't make a pair because it was so much work back then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you have that shoe, right? Like,
yeah.
Okay. All right. Does one person have, like, one of you have the left, another have the right, or is that in the shop? Like, where?
No, it's just one shoe. It's not a pair.
Oh, it's not even a pair. It's literally one shoe. Okay. Gotcha. Yeah. Wow. That's awesome. Very cool. And how can someone get a pair? And can you do customs? Like, if I sent you a pair of like a old pair of shoes that I have that I would want to Peterson Stoop eyes, like you can do that?
Yeah, basically, so how it works is that we usually give people two options. So you can choose a straight storm welt or a wavy, and then usually the wavy is with a EVA sole and the straight is with a leather sole. So and I would always offer like, okay, you can choose, but if you want to send in your shoes and you want a designer's opinion, we can look at it and just give you advice what we think would look best. So we also work with like different colored EVA or different colored leather, usually black or tan. We would help them decide what would work best. And we also do like more custom jobs, like where we would put like panels of leather on the shoe. So there's actually, I never want to say no to somebody, so I always give them the option so it's clear, and then people can just go as crazy as they want, and then usually we'll figure something out.
Okay, that's awesome. I need to do that. I got to get on that right away. Send you guys in and get that going. We'll do that sooner rather than later. Another question I have is, for both of you, what do you think you would be doing if you weren't making shoes? Like if the shoe thing didn't work out, like what do you think? What was some other interest that you had?
Like nothing with shoes?
Yeah, like if you weren't doing shoes, like if that just wasn't an option, what do you think you'd be doing?
I think I'd be like a biologist or something, or work in Africa with orphaned monkeys or something.
That's awesome. Okay.
Nature, I think.
Gotcha. And Jarah, how about you?
I always think that I would have been an art historian. So I was always really interested in art and history and why why artists make certain types of art and how their work, evolves during the years. I always think that's really interesting.
Oh, that's cool. I always wanted to be, if I wasn't doing what I'm doing now, a grounds crew keeper. So like, like baseball, like the football pitch, and like the person that cuts the grass and like gets the field prepared. Like for some reason, I was out with the waves and the lines and stuff, and I just always thought that was really cool and fascinating. And like if I wasn't in the shoe business, I think like I would have tried to figure out how to get into that world. Very, very interesting. I always like asking that question because you just never know the answers that you're gonna get, and I feel like you learn a little bit more about that person when you hear that. Tell me something fun that you know about one another that maybe that you can share that other people may not know.
Jarah's very funny. She's she just doesn't like really think. I don't mean it in a negative way, but she just like, she's just very witty. She just makes me laugh a lot.
Thank you. That's also one of my main goals in life, to make Jelske laugh.
Yeah.
So
there you go.
She doesn't like really process like, can I say this? Is it too rude? No, she just blurs it out, and then it's like it's always funny.
I think it's some kind of switch I can turn on and off.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's good. No, that's awesome that you two just are so close and work so well together. Partnerships are always, you hear all the horror stories all the time about partnerships and how difficult it is. It sounds like, you two have had this bond going years and years back, and
we've never had an actual fight.
Yeah, like, that's awesome. Really? Yeah.
Like a proper
fight.
That's
good. Being able to just be reasonable human beings and talk things out and work together. So that's great.
We would disagree from time to time, but
that's awesome.
I have something to tell about Jelske as well. I think that's really, like, you will never meet somebody as unique as Jelske. She so when we were like starting to get to know each other, when a new person would come into our studio, like sometimes Jelske, like people wanted to take pictures of her and she would never say no. And then, when somebody leaves, which, is often a strange person, you would go like, so what do you think? And Jelske would never do that. Like she would never go like and gossip about people. She would always be like, yeah, this is an experience. She would just keep, that would be it. And I was always like fascinated. I would just think, you have no judgments about other people. You just accept how they are, and then that's so beautiful, And that's why I always also feel so accepted by her. Is that she just accepts it, and it's just really unique.
That's nice.
Thanks.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. No, that's great. Yeah, you're listening to the Kicks Factory show. I'm here with Jarah and Jelske from Peterson Stoop. Another question I have is that I like to ask is an aha moment, a moment when something happened in the business and you realize that you can do it. Like, you arrived, you're here. Like, this isn't as difficult as you thought. What could you tell me? Do you have a story for a moment like that?
I think we're still.
I'm still ahaing. I think
we're still ahaing the whole time. I mean, we've had multiple. Like when we came up with the idea, when the first people started emailing us, when we got an agent for Japan, when Selfridges started buying us. I don't know, like it feels like, yeah, like it's all going so quickly that sometimes we don't have time to process all those really nice comments. Yeah,
that's a good place to be, because that's a good problem to have when things are just moving so quickly, and well, one day you will be able to sit back and reflect on it, the both of you, and look back on all that you've accomplished. You guys are doing great. So yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome to see, and it's awesome to talk to you and hear about this. What's next for the brand and you two? What are some things that you may have on the horizon that's going on that you can share?
So in the last couple of years, we've been making all the shoes ourselves in-house in our studio. And, we were discussing like, how can we grow? It's really our purpose to take as much use an old shoes and save it from landfill. So we started working with a factory that is actually, slowly taking over the production for us. And I think that's really exciting that we can, that we are the first brand that is doing like repair on such a big scale.
Big scale. That's awesome.
Yeah. And I think, and
they basically, they are doing exactly what we are doing here in the studio, but they are just with more people, so they can do more.
Yeah.
So it's not like now everything is done mechanically or something. It's still like the same product. It's just we're able to upscale now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. That's awesome. Well, I look forward to seeing that and learning more about that too. So best of luck with that. Another thing I like to do on the show is, just for some of the youngsters, amateurs, or people who are just trying to break into either the shoe business or the creative business in general, is try to give them a few gems and some advice as often as I can. What would be some advice that you could give to a young person, or if you could go back in time and give yourself some advice, knowing what you know now, what would that be?
Maybe get a financial business partner.
Okay.
Yeah. That's good advice, right?
Jarah, same thing. Like, what do you think?
No, so I usually like to say to people, don't do it. Yeah. And then when that sparks fire, some people just are like, oh, don't do it. I won't do it. And some people are really like, they want to fight. They want to accomplish what they have in their mind. So when you have that fire, you know that you're the right person to pursue a career in footwear or having your own company.
Yeah, but if one person tells you don't do it and you do it, then you probably wouldn't have to do it anyhow.
Exactly.
That's right.
It's really hard and
Yeah, it's tough. It's and sometimes no advice is the best advice. I've been told too as well sometimes. So no, that's great. So you're both one thing, or I guess a couple things from the outside looking in that you have in common is one, that you're both parents, and then two, you're both dreamers, right? Like you had to get to the level that you are now. You had to dream, you had to believe in yourself in order to achieve things that you're achieving right now. Although it's moving so fast, and it's kind of hard to go back and look at it as you're still living in the aha moment, right? So with that said, like, tell me what kind of advice you think that you would want to give your children as they get older about dreaming and believing in themselves as they get older.
I always tell my son, you can do everything. Yeah. And you're perfect the way you are.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
and just be kind.
Yeah.
Be kind. And then it will come to you too.
Yeah. That's awesome. No, that's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. And I think that's a wrap. I think we were done. This was an awesome conversation. It was great getting to know the both of you a little bit more and hearing about the brand, hearing about your journey together and where you're at today. It's amazing. The work that you're doing is awesome. Please keep it up. I know you will. And how can people follow you on social media? How can they get in contact? What's the best way to reach out?
Well, Instagram is just Peterson Stoop. You can DM us. We almost always reply. or email us info@Peterson Stoop.
Awesome. Well, that is a wrap. Thank you again for joining us today. You were listening to the Kicks Factory show. I was here live today with Jarah and Jelske from Peterson Stoop. Go check out the brand, cop a pair of shoes, send them a pair of shoes so they can make you something really nice. And we'll see you here again next time. So thanks again for joining, and see you later.